before we continue our journey through investing realms, and we will show another practical investing tips and tricks, we have to discuss very important topic, which is security, because we have to protect our funds. And so let's embark on this journey. What awaits us on this journey? We will discuss what do we mean by security, email and our personal inbox, phishing, vishing, smishing. So we will explain what these terms means, two-factor authentication, we apply limits to services, we use secure passwords, watch out for search results, it would be practical example, we use credit card smartly, we limit what we share about ourselves online, we don't log in through public networks unless necessary. So let's jump on it. What we mean by security? It's about securing our investment account or bank account or any account we want to secure. Protecting the money we save, for example, for retirement, from being stolen. That's what we mean under security. Unfortunately, the people trying to steal our funds are usually several steps ahead. So the only thing that we can do is to adapt, learn and improve ourselves in our defenses or protection. Email and our personal inbox. Email is usually the most common way how we ordinary people meet with some attempts to steal our information or get our login information. Our personal email is often used as a login into many accounts. Also, if we want to receive emails, we have to share our email. So that's the reason why we have to protect it. Another thing to keep in mind is that usually when we want to reset some password, it's sent into our email inbox. So it's super important to protect your email account as much as you can, which means use strong password and then ideally multi-factor authentication, which we will discuss in a short moment. Phishing, vishing and smishing. So what does it mean? These are methods of social engineering, and the target is usually the weakest link in the defense, and unfortunately that's we humans. Phishing is an attempt to obtain information, login credentials and so on through email. Vishing is the same done through telephone, and smishing is the same done through SMS or chatting applications. In general, if we receive such email and we are unsure, then it's best to not click on anything inside the email, but rather log in into our account and double check, or terminate the call and rather we call into the company and double check. Here is nice example of such phishing email. So usually we see just this address here. So we also should have overview where we are registered. In this case, we would see just this Amazon Prime, but if we check more carefully the email address, it's some super long nonsense. So this is definitely first red flag. And then usually these emails are trying to create some urgent, and then there is a huge button to update something. So it's never a good idea if you are unsure to go through some links inside email. Rather type in Amazon and double check inside your account, but please don't do it through your email, because in many cases it's just attempt how to get your login information. What is two-phase verification? Two-phase verification or multi-step verification is based on verifying who you are, usually through credentials, and then something you have. Usually it's, for example, your phone or some hardware token that provides you with some password or code. So the idea here is to simply increase the protection of our account. If possible, always enable multi-factor authentication. Or you can also know it for example from bank account. When you want to do a transaction, it's not just about filling in the transaction inside internet banking, but it's also about confirming the transaction inside key on your phone. So if possible, opt for authentication via applications like Google Authenticator rather than regular texting or SMS messages, because on our phones we are usually unaware what all applications has access into the SMS, and that's then usually a way how they can also steal this two-way authentication. So rather use special applications which are much better protected, or at least double check what applications have access into your SMS on your phone. We use limits for services. So for everyday life and purchases, it's often not necessary to have a banking limit of 100,000. So where possible, we will reduce the limit to the lowest possible limit that is sufficient for everyday life. And then when we want, for example, do some big purchase, we will simply temporarily increase the limit. If we do it and there is some problem, for example, our credentials are stolen, someone tries to take money out of our investment or bank account, he will be stopped by the limit. So we will limit the danger or the losses of the money. We use secure password. So we definitely should use passwords which are strong enough, which means contains upper, lowercase, special characters and numbers, and of course they must be at least 8 characters long, or if longer the better. We do not use the same password everywhere, that's a common mistake, and if possible we change password over time. And we try not to use passwords that are easy to guess, such as birth number, name, date of birth, and so on. Now watch out for search results. For example, we want to get into internet banking, so we search for it, but let's see this on a practical example. So let's jump on it. Here we are going to show how search results can be misused. So let's assume that we want to pay for using the highway inside Hungary. So we will just, as a Czech person, search for a web page which is allowing us to buy it. In this case, I just want to present concept that attackers are aware of it, so they pay and optimize the web page to show as a first inside the search result. In reality, this page is actually just men in the middle, so it's allowing you to buy or pay for using the highway inside Hungary, but it's just reselling it, so you will be charged with extra fee, but you will figure out that after you fill everything in. Because there is another web page which is official web page of Hungary where you can buy it. Of course, in this case everything is translated into Czech language, so there is some extra service provided, and it's definitely not gone. So in the end you will get the highway fee paid. The point that I'm trying to make here, that many people, when they want to access internet banking, they search for it like this, because they do not remember the web page, and then they usually select the first search result. Attackers are aware of it, they can just make sure that their page is first inside the search result, and then you will fill in your credentials, and that's how they can steal your credentials. And that's another reason why you should definitely activate two-factor authentication, so that after filling in your credentials, you will have to confirm login inside your application. So please be aware of that, and always rather fill in the web page directly here, or at least double check that this one is real and not just a fake. So that's it. We use credit cards smartly. If possible, we hide our credit card behind, for example, a virtual Google Wallet card. So if we register our card with Google, then Google itself is providing virtual card, and then it internally communicates with our card company. So doing this, we can hide the details when we are, for example, swiping or using contactless payments. If possible, we set a low limit for online payments and change it as needed, or if possible, we can turn off online payments and only turn them on when we want to pay. Or we can, for example, let company issue one card which is connected with standalone bank account, and we use it and send their money only when we want to pay something inside eShop and so on. We limit what we share about ourselves online. If we share information about ourselves publicly with everyone, then this information can be usually misused to guess our password, to learn where we are or what we are doing, and then target the attack on us. So for example, if we share that we are going on holiday or we are on holidays, it could serve as an invitation to our unguarded home. Because usually people watch us over some time, they will learn our habits, and then this can be misused if we are just providing them with necessary data. So we definitely should limit who can see what we share and ask, is this reasonable to share? Unless necessary, we do not log in via public networks. If I'm connected to public Wi-Fi, I ideally only use it to search the internet, but I definitely should not fill in any payment details or login details. Why? Because there is public router in between us and internet, and this public router can capture the information. So if we really have to connect, then ideally, if we have internet provided by our telephone services provider, then rather disconnect from public Wi-Fi and use the 4th generation or 5th generation networks. I believe that 3rd generation networks encryption is already broken, so use, if you can, 4th or 5th generation. And what about you? How do you plan to defend yourself, your banking investment account?